Have you ever wondered why your ex avoids you, even refusing a simple conversation? Are all doors truly closed, or are they just protecting themselves from unresolved emotions? Facing someone who avoids you is not easy. The closer you try to get, the further they pull away, leaving you feeling lost in an emotional whirlwind. But don't lose heart. There's always a way to break through those seemingly impenetrable barriers. The truth is, even the most avoidant individuals harbor a deep desire to connect. They just need the right approach. A small gesture, a sincere word spoken at the right moment can soften their defenses. In this article, we will share tips to help you reconnect this time with intention and understanding, transforming challenges into opportunities. Ready to change the game? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to discover effective strategies. This time, you'll be the one in control. Comments left under the video will be a huge motivation for us to keep creating daily content. So, make sure to leave a comment after watching. One more thing, if you have a second or two. First, I will explain in depth the avoidant behavior, which is not merely an impulsive reaction, but a reflection of a deeply rooted attachment style shaped by past emotional wounds. It is a sophisticated defense mechanism, constructed as a wall to protect avoidant individuals from the pain of vulnerability. To understand them, we cannot merely observe their actions. We must delve into the hidden psychology, where fear, insecurity, and the need for self-protection constantly clash. People with an avoidant attachment style often perceive emotional intimacy and closeness as a threat. It's not because they do not crave love, but because, subconsciously, they fear that too much attachment will cause them to lose control of themselves. They shy away from deep conversations, refuse to express their true feelings, and tend to withdraw when a relationship becomes too serious. Yet, behind these behaviors lies the fear of being hurt, a fear they have learned to conceal since childhood. Avoidant attachment often originates from childhood experiences where a child felt that expressing emotions or seeking comfort from loved ones was futile or even rejected. Over time, that child learned to stand on their own without support, forming the belief that dependence on others would only bring pain. As adults, this becomes an unconscious habit. They maintain safe emotional distances in relationships so that no one can get too close, all while protecting their hearts from the risk of hurt. Ironically, avoidant individuals are not devoid of emotions. They feel love, connection, and even pain deeply. However, instead of facing these emotions, they choose to suppress or ignore them out of fear of losing control. Words of love and sincere acts of care, which bring joy to those with secure or anxious attachment styles, can become overwhelming pressure for avoidance. A simple "I love you" may make an anxious person feel appreciated, but for avoidance, it can evoke fears of dependence, entrapment, or worse, devastation if the relationship ends. Imagine an avoidant person in a relationship. They may love deeply but struggle to express that love. They want to be close to you but only close enough to feel safe. Every time you try to take a step forward, they instinctively step back. This does not mean they don't care. Rather, stepping into an overly intimate emotional space feels destabilizing. To them, excessive closeness resembles a trap, and the only way to feel safe is to keep a distance. Avoidants often confuse freedom with isolation. They believe that maintaining distance allows them to preserve independence, but in reality this keeps them trapped in loneliness. They want connection but don't know how. They fear losing you but also fear being hurt by you. This paradox is something they cannot easily recognize or overcome. If you've ever loved an avoidant, you'll understand this contradiction. On one hand, they seem distant and cold, but on the other, they have moments of heartbreaking tenderness. They may leave when you need them most, yet when you turn away, they long to keep you close. Every action they take results from an internal battle between the desire for love and the fear of letting love in. So how can you love an avoidant person? The first and most important thing is to understand that their behavior is not a reflection of your worth, but a manifestation of their unhealed wounds. Trying to change them, pushing them to be close, or using emotions to hold on to them will only make them feel more pressured and retreat further. Instead, focus on building a safe space, one where they can feel that love is not a constraint, but the freedom to be themselves. However, not everyone can or should try to heal an avoidant person. Loving someone like this requires emotional stability, patience, and the understanding that your love alone may not change them. Sometimes, the best thing you can do is let go and allow them to face their inner conflicts. Only when they are truly ready will they be able to open up and step out of the protective shell they've lived in for so long. Number 2. Do not contact or bother an avoidant person. During the phase when your ex pulls away, the most important thing is not to contact or try to bother them. For people with avoidant attachment, any clinging or pursuit will make them feel controlled and robbed of the freedom they value most. Excessive intimacy or pressure from you can be interpreted as a threat to their personal space, causing them to withdraw even more. Instead of reacting instinctively and letting emotions take over, focus on yourself. This is the time to return to who you are, rediscovering values obscured by the pain of the breakup. Engage in activities that help you reconnect with life, the things you love, neglected hobbies, and relationships with family and friends. This transformation not only helps you heal, but also sends a subtle, yet powerful message to your ex. You are strong, capable, and don't rely on their presence for happiness. Distance is not the end, but a test of the relationship's durability. When you step back respectfully, you give them the space to face themselves. In the silence and absence you leave behind, they will begin to feel the weight of what they've lost. The freedom they sought may become a burden because, without you to share their moments, they may start comparing their current state to what you once provided. Positive memories and warm moments may resurface, but only if you give them the time and space to experience that for themselves. Avoidants often don't realize the value of a relationship until they lose it completely. Your lack of contact is not just a way to heal yourself, but also a strong reminder that your presence cannot be taken for granted. When no one is there to listen, support, or understand them as you once did, they will face their deepest fear, losing someone who truly understood and loved them. Your silence is not indifference, but a way to emphasize your worth without saying a word. They will start to wonder, "What are you doing? Do you still think about them? Have you found new happiness?" These questions force them to confront the possibility of losing you forever, a scenario their avoidant psychology is unprepared to handle. If after some time they reach out again, it's crucial to maintain your composure. Resist the urge to discuss the breakup, their new relationships, or any stressful topics. Such conversations will only create tension and make them feel that you're still holding on. Instead, approach naturally, lighthearted, humorous, and focused on the present. This not only creates a comfortable atmosphere, but also helps them reconnect with the positivity and attraction they once felt for you. More importantly, don't let their behavior define your value. They withdrew not because you are unworthy, but because they are struggling with how to handle their emotions. They need time to understand themselves, but you also need time to decide whether this attachment style is something you can accept in a long-term relationship. Maintaining a relationship with someone with avoidant attachment requires a great deal of understanding and patience. However, you must ensure that you do not lose your own value or emotional security. Ask yourself, does this relationship bring lasting happiness, or does it exhaust me as I constantly try to compensate for their emotional gaps? At the same time, give both of you time to relax, think clearly, and rebuild the connection on a stronger foundation, if that is what you both truly desire. Mark Twain. Number 3. When love becomes a struggle with insecurity. In the realm of relationships, the anxious avoidant attachment style is a complex psychological phenomenon where love is frequently dominated by deep-seated insecurities. People with this attachment style not only crave closeness and safety from their partner, but are also torn by the fear of rejection or abandonment. They love intensely, but their constant anxiety and high expectations turn the relationship into a series of internal conflicts, simultaneously wanting to hold on while fearing they will be pushed away. An unanswered message, a cold glance, or even accidental distance between two people can ignite fear within them. Their reactions often range from attempts to control, sending a flood of texts or demanding reassurance, to self-blame for not being good enough. They constantly live in a state of tension, not because they lack love, but because they keep asking themselves, "Am I worthy enough?" Or, "Will they leave me?" This is no merely behavior, but a misinterpretation of reality shaped by past wounds. The roots of this attachment style often lie in childhood. Children who grow up in emotionally unstable environments, where love from parents or caregivers is inconsistent or lacking, often develop a sense of insecurity in relationships. As adults, they carry the fear of abandonment, creating a complex emotional cycle in romantic relationships. They do not just seek love, they seek validation that they are worthy of being loved. Yet this intense need can make them clingy, creating invisible pressure on their partner. Notably, the dynamic between someone with anxious attachment and someone avoidant often forms a repetitive cycle of conflict. The anxious partner tries to pull their counterpart closer for reassurance, while the avoidant partner feels suffocated and seeks to distance themselves to protect their personal space. They are like two opposing extremes. One wants to hold on, the other wants to let go. This cycle not only wears down the emotional bond, but also deepens the insecurities of the anxious partner. However, not all hope is lost. People with anxious attachment can absolutely break free from this negative cycle. The prerequisite is recognizing their attachment style and learning to face their fears. Seeking inner value rather than relying entirely on others for validation is the first step toward building healthier relationships. And additionally, establishing healthy emotional boundaries and lowering unrealistic expectations of their partner are key to alleviating self-imposed pressure in relationships. For their partners, understanding the nature of anxious attachment is essential. Empathy and open, honest communication can help soothe their insecurities while creating a space where both individuals can grow. A healthy relationship requires not just love, but also patience and understanding from both sides. If left unaddressed, anxious avoidant attachment can turn love into a battlefield of internal contradictions. But with awareness and the effort to change, individuals can learn to love without losing themselves. This is not only a journey of healing for themselves, but also a way to build a stronger foundation for long-lasting love. Love ultimately is not about finding someone to fill the void, but about creating new value together from a place of inner confidence and emotional security. Number 4. Key characteristics of the anxious avoidant attachment style. One of the most notable traits of people with anxious avoidant attachment is their tendency to withdraw or avoid conflicts and serious conversations about commitment. Rather than confronting problems directly and finding solutions, they often choose silence, change the topic, or create distance for a few days to calm their unstable emotions. Phrases like, "I need time to think," or "Can we talk about this later?" become their go-to responses whenever they feel pressured. This does not mean they do not care about you or the relationship. In reality, they fear hurting themselves or their partner if they remain in a tense situation. What makes anxious avoidant individuals particularly unpredictable are the contradictory signals they send. On one hand, they may show affection, offer sweet gestures, and share intimate emotional moments. Yet soon after, they unexpectedly pull away, becoming cold and distant without providing a clear explanation. For example, they might spend an evening happily chatting with you, only to text the next morning saying, "I think I need some space." These sudden shifts often stem from their fear. They crave love, but fear losing control of their emotions if they get too close. Anxious avoidant individuals are also highly sensitive to even the smallest signs of rejection. An unanswered text, a disinterested expression during a conversation, or an unintended pause in the relationship can trigger their fear of abandonment. However, instead of directly addressing the issue, they often choose to isolate themselves, avoid interaction, or express emotions indirectly. They might ignore your calls, limit communication, or post vague status updates on social media like, "Maybe I shouldn't expect too much from anyone." Such behaviors complicate the relationship further, leaving their partner feeling insecure and confused. Another key characteristic of the anxious avoidant attachment style is how they handle intimacy. While they deeply desire closeness and affection, experiencing it can leave them feeling overwhelmed or threatened by excessive intimacy. This leads them to create distance by claiming to be busy, canceling plans at the last minute, or reducing interactions over extended periods. Phrases like, "I need to focus on my work right now," or "I don't think I deserve you," often appear in these scenarios, adding to their partner's confusion. Notably, despite their seemingly distant demeanor, they still long to be understood and connected. They do not intentionally hurt you. They simply do not know how to face their own emotions. This complexity stems from childhood wounds when they grew up in emotionally unstable environments. Perhaps they felt they never received enough attention or love from parents or caregivers, which formed a deep need within them. The need to feel worthy of love. Yet when uncontrolled, this need causes them to fall into states of anxiety, fear, and self-isolation from meaningful relationships. Anxious avoidant individuals also tend to blame themselves in relationships when they feel unable to meet their partner's expectations, or when the relationship hits trouble. They easily fall into self-criticism, believing they are not good enough. However, instead of resolving the issue, they withdraw, creating a negative and exhausting emotional loop. Although these behaviors may be hurtful and difficult to understand, it is essential to remember that anxious avoidant individuals do not act this way because they do not love you. In fact, they often feel emotions very intensely, but lack the skills to manage them in a healthy way. They need understanding and support from their partner, but they also need to learn how to find emotional security within themselves rather than depending entirely on others. Recognizing their attachment style and working on their inner fears is the first step toward breaking free from this negative cycle. In training clients, we help them understand that their fears about being unworthy of love are generated by concrete fears that are often low-based. For you, their partner, understanding these signs and their deeper causes can help you develop empathy and communicate more effectively. However, it is also important to set healthy boundaries to protect yourself. No one can heal someone else if they are not willing to change. A relationship can only thrive when both partners commit to building a healthy foundation where the balance between love and personal freedom is respected. On this journey, understanding and patience will be the keys to breaking the exhausting push-pull cycle, bringing true peace and happiness to both of you. Avoidant exes often come back, not because you tried to pull them back, but because you showed them that you can live confidently and strongly without needing them. They are attracted to the freedom, independence, and sense of value that you exude when you focus on yourself. Instead of chasing after them or trying to change the situation, hold your ground and let time do the rest. When you choose not to interfere or salvage the relationship by clinging, you not only preserve your dignity, but also send a powerful message. I am strong enough to move forward, and if you want to come back, you need to be ready. Avoidant individuals, despite their cold exterior, often reflect deeply in silence. When you are no longer there for them to lean on or idealize, they begin to confront the emptiness you leave behind. The most important thing to remember is that their return, if it happens, should not be your ultimate goal. you need to carefully consider whether this relationship is truly worth reinvesting in. A healthy relationship comes not just from reuniting, but from both individuals learning to love and respect themselves, while bringing that growth into the relationship. Trust that if you remain steadfast and focus on building a fulfilling life, your ex will sense the change in you. And if they are mature enough to come back with a readiness to grow, that's when you have the opportunity to consider building a new beginning, one founded on maturity, understanding, and genuine balance. But if they do not come back, you are still the winner because you chose yourself and moved toward a better future.